All right, I'm going to call us to order. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight with our forum with the three candidates who are seeking to represent District 6 on the Wichita City Council. As voters, you have an important role in shaping the community, and we're glad that you're here. So my name is Kathy Leffler, and I am the coordinator for the Wichita Journalism Collaborative. The collaborative is made up of 10 partners, news and information organizations, and we're working together to meet the information and news needs in our community. Over the past 3 or 4 years, we've covered mental health and housing, and we've just finished up covering housing. I've got a board back there. If you have an idea for our next topic, we'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and write it on there. It's anonymous, and you won't be tracked down or held accountable. We'd just like to hear what you would like to hear us report on. So we host forums like this, engagement, and listening events. So the 10 partners are KSN TV, who's live streaming tonight, the Wichita Public Library, our host, the Wichita Eagle, KMUW, the Community Voice, the Active Age, the Journal at the Kansas Leadership Center, Planeta Venus, the Elliott School of Communication at WSU, and the Sunflower, which is the student-run newspaper at WSU. And we're supported by the Wichita Foundation and the Kansas Leadership Center. So I want to thank our candidates tonight, Brett Anderson, Maggie Ballard, and Margaret Shabazz, for making time tonight to talk about the issues impacting the community and to hear from you. And I appreciate the support from the partners in the collaborative and their work to make this forum possible. And I want to thank KSN for live streaming this forum, as well as the past and future forums that they live stream. And the staff at the Evergreen Library and the main library have been phenomenal in helping us make this happen, working behind the scenes to set the space and hit our tech needs. And tonight, I want to thank the League of Women Voters. They'll serve as timekeepers, and they also are hosting with us. Also, I want to let you know we've got another forum coming up on October 14th. It's going to be at the Marcus Welcome Center at WSU, and that one will be with the District 1 City Council candidates and the District 1 School Board candidates. It'll be at 6 p.m. So you can find details on our website, which is wichitajournalism.org. So now I'd like to introduce our moderator, Stefania Lugli of the Journal at the Kansas Leadership Center.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the District 6 Wichita City Council Candidate Forum. As Kathy said, my name is Stefania Lugli. I'm the staff reporter for the Journal based at the Kansas Leadership Center. So as we all know, on November 4th, District 6 voters will get a chance to cast their vote for one of the 3 people you see before you. The top vote getter will become your city councilor for District 6. We're going to begin with statements from the candidates here in a moment. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to present their opening statements to the audience. After that, we're going to start the question portion of the evening, where each candidate will answer each question and have 1 minute to answer. Then, each one can have an additional 30 seconds for rebuttal or additional comment if they want. We will alternate who answers first on each question. The questions we'll be asking tonight were submitted by residents as well as members of the Wichita Journalism Collaborative. If during this forum you want to ask a question yourself, you can go to Malia, raise your hand. They will have note cards for you, and you can just raise your hand and they will walk over and hand you one, and then raise your hand again, and they can pick it up and they'll submit it to me up here. And then to close the event, we will end with 1 minute closing statements. So we are looking forward to a productive forum with constructive dialogue and respectful interaction as we focus on the issues. There's plenty to talk about with District 6, so we encourage the audience to reach out to the candidates after the event if they have additional questions or would like to continue any of the conversations we start here. Okay, so to start us off, between the collaborative and resident question. Wait, hold on, I'm skipping the opening statements. Sorry. To start us off, Brett Anderson will give his opening speech.
We stand?
What you feel like doing.
What's your preference? Okay.
It's up to you. Just have the mic. That's what matters.
Are they on?
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to work. Okay, no, we'll see here. Okay, I'll just stand right here. How's that? Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Brett Anderson. I'm running for Wichita City Council District 6. I've lived on the north side of Wichita for 17 years, and when I say north side, it's the north side. We're north of 53rd Street. Why I'm running? I got involved in politics 5 or 6 years ago. Once I saw the heavy-handed government coming down on people, I thought it's time to get involved and make a change. So it's been a slow progression forward, and this is the next step in my journey. A few things that I'm going to run on. Accountability. If I say that I'm going to do it, I'm going to put forth my best effort to do it. And I expect the people, you, to tell me if I'm doing it, if I didn't do it, why I didn't do it, come ask questions. Number 2, transparency. I think everything that happens with your dollars needs to be in the light, and it needs to be out in the front. The only thing you can't do is executive session. Everything else, out in front of the people. And then common sense. Do we need it? Is it affordable? And does it make sense? So I think running on those 3 things is what I'm going to go for, and I think that it would make a successful run. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Maggie Ballard, and I have the privilege of serving as your city council member for District 6. I was born and raised, well, almost right, over in Riverside, and graduated from North High. Wichita has always been home for my family. 5 generations of us have worked to make this city a little bit better for the next one. Before I ran for office, I was a small business owner. I started working at the Riverside Perk as a teenager and eventually bought it, along with my first business, Maggie's Scotch and Soda. Those experiences taught me what it means to listen, to lead, and to make tough decisions under pressure. They also taught me that loyalty and trust are earned one conversation, one action at a time. The same philosophy guides how I serve on city council every single day. I ran because I wanted to bring that kind of trust and accountability back to City Hall, and because I believe government works best when it listens to the people it serves. Over the past few years, we've made major progress in District 6. We've advanced projects that make our neighborhood safer, cleaner, and stronger, from improving housing and revitalizing our corridor to launching transformative efforts like Second Light. We are creating real, long-term solutions that will help our neighbors rebuild stability and pride in our community. But these big projects don't happen overnight. They require consistency, collaboration, and follow-through. That's why I'm running for re-election, because we're not finished yet. We've laid the groundwork for real change, and I want to see it through. Wichita deserves leadership that stays the course, leadership that understands where we've been, where we're going, and what it takes to get there. District 6 is my home. These are my neighbors, my friends, and my roots. Every decision I make is about making this place we're proud to call home, now and for generations to come. I'm proud of the progress we've made together, and I'm asking for your support to keep that momentum going. Let's finish what we've started together. Thank you.
I'm short, but let's see. Oh, it reaches for me. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Margaret Shabazz, a lifetime Wichitan, a mother of 2 girls, a widow, and a graduate of Bishop Carroll and WSU Tech. I am running for City Council District 6 because I believe Wichita deserves leadership that listens, acts, and serves with accountability. District 6 has been overlooked for far too long. We see the impact in our aging infrastructure, lack of affordable housing, and the growing number of people without shelter. My vision is to rebuild trust in local government, make city spending transparent, and ensure every neighborhood, not just a few, has a voice in how our city grows. I'm not a politician, but I believe I'm a problem solver who believes in people over politics. Wichita can't move forward by doing the same things and expecting different results. We need leadership that brings both compassion and accountability, that listens, not lectures. I will fight for affordable housing, responsible spending, and stronger neighborhoods where families feel safe and supported. District 6 deserves action, not empty promises. I am Margaret Shabazz, and I'm ready to work for you, with you, alongside of you, to build a stronger, fairer Wichita for everyone.
Hello? Okay. Thank you. So, as I said before, a lot of our all of our questions are coming from members within the collaborative as well as resident submitted online. So, one of the biggest themes that we were seeing was that homelessness was a concern that came up quite a bit. So, our first question, which I will have Margaret answer first, is homelessness is one of Wichita's biggest community concerns right now. Recent data shows that the number of homeless Wichitans is increasing while federal support for permanent housing, Medicaid, and homelessness prevention initiatives are expected to decline. As homelessness grows and becomes more visible, how can you address the needs of homeless Wichitans humanely in balance with increasing community pressure to get people off the streets?
I strongly believe in meeting people where they are. I believe that we should have zones around the city where they are able to build their encampments. Therefore, we can come and meet them where they are with our, by mobilizing our resources, our wraparound services. And then we can also partner up with the businesses around town and ask them, please adopt one. Please hire one at a livable cost. Okay, and then I want you to pick them up. Now, the first day they may not, they'll come to work. The second day they may come to work, but their third day they may not. But I still want you to show up, to show true compassion, because that's something that we've truly lost.
Brett, do you want to have 30 seconds for additional comment?
Additional comment?
Yes.
No.
You can interpret additional comment however you want to.
Okay. Yeah, so will I get the question as well or not?
Yes. Wait.
How's that work?
You answer the question as well.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, homeless is obviously a bigger issue that's getting bigger every day. I struggle with the fact that I don't think I don't want property taxes and stuff to be spent on stuff like this. So it's going to have to come through like a sales tax type thing, and it's going to also have to come through collaboration with the public. The public's going to have to step up. Nonprofits have to step up, and then there's also going to have to be a level of personal responsibility from the homeless to actually try to get themselves fixed. Like when people talk about their encampments being cleaned up and how insensitive that is. I think the city and the county and the state's extremely sensitive. They spend millions of dollars helping them out, and I think they have to have a level of personal responsibility to fix it. Okay.
Thank you. Rethinking how we address homelessness is one of the main reasons that I ran for city council. I like to talk about the four legs of the stool: the Biomed Center, expanding the crisis center, the state mental health hospital, and Second Light, the multi-agency center. We have been talking about these projects for over a decade, and we broke ground on all four of them in the last 12 to 18 months. So unfortunately, we're not going to see the benefits from all of those until they're fully staffed and fully up and operational. But this is a topic that people have turned their heads for decades, and it certainly didn't just happen overnight. So I believe that we are definitely putting our best foot forward and putting in place the services and that we have needed for a very long time. And so I'm very proud of the work that we've been doing. It's just going to take a little bit more time for them to get up and running and fully staffed. So thank you.
Either of you three, do you want additional 30 seconds for additional comment? No?
I would
Go,
just
Maggie.
add that homelessness is something that we talk about every single day, all day, it seems like, at City Hall. It touches our businesses, our infrastructure, the trash, everything. And I just say, if it was easy, we would have already fixed it. And we are working so hard on it. And we've just been doing some great work. And I'm just looking forward to everything coming to fruition so that we can have a healthier community.
I would like to add, I've actually spoken with the unhoused and police officers and the citizens, and they actually do want a zone, someplace that they can go. But like I said, compassion, compassion, compassion. We have to show up for them, right? Because they're already going through something. If they show up the first day, we're going to continue to show up. Compassion, show true compassion, mobilize our wraparound services, and truly meet them where they are.
Thank you. Brett, you'll start us off with answering this question. Wichita continues to struggle with the shortage of affordable housing. What role should the city have in helping reduce that gap, including permanent supportive housing?
Well, this one's a little bit tough. I believe that government should have the least amount of role in this. First off, we have to define what affordable housing means. What's affordable for one person is not the same for somebody else. I think once we define that, then I think as the city, instead of just throwing dollars at it, we find out what we can do at the city in terms of regulation, zoning, whatever we can do to make something helpful for someone to live in. There was a grant given out a couple weeks ago for $630,000. That was for 7 houses at a reduction of $90,000 a house. That's not affordable housing. So if the goal is to get people housed, let's figure out what they need, let's figure out the bases that they need, and then we can go from there.
Again, affordable housing is something that we talk a lot about. We've tried to take a different approach and look at some of our commercial buildings downtown and maybe possibly transform those into affordable housing. Like Brett mentioned, affordable means something different for all of us. But the reality is nobody's building the homes that we need. Nobody's building the 2-bedroom, 1-bath, the 3-bedroom, 1-bath homes. They're building these big, beautiful luxury homes that a lot of people can't afford. Rent is outrageous. We are talking with estate partners to potentially see if we can cap any rents. We're pricing people out of their homes, and it is a slippery slope where what role the city plays. But I would say, I don't know if any of you have read Homelessness is a Housing Issue. It's an incredible book, and we really need to get a lot of our folks housed. There are so many students the end. That's okay.
First off, I believe if we truly believe in affordable housing, we need affordable housing policy. In Wichita, Kansas, we don't even have affordable housing policy. So how can we say we care? I believe if we're going to give TIF funds to places or bonds and grants, and they say we're going to revitalize this area and redevelop this area, then we need to put a cap, and we need to say, hey, if you're going to do that, you can't make the rent or you can't make the houses higher than this. I'm going to be an elder one day. I don't want to be priced out. And at this rate, I'm going to be priced out. So what do? We can revitalize these buildings that are just sitting here. We have a lot of buildings. This can also help our homeless get off the street as well, hire them to do some of the work on it. Come on, we got to work together. Let's get the city working. Let's get a policy in place so we're not priced out.
Brett, do you have additional comment?
I don't.
Maggie?
I do. Sorry. I also believe that when we set that we need advisors to make sure they are, with these developers and construction workers are actually doing what they say they're doing, make sure that these realtors really don't price us out. I had something else really good to say, but I forgot it, so sorry.
Next question. Maggie, you'll start us off. City Council recently voted to lower the mill levy by $0.5 mil, equaling to around $5.75 per $100,000 in appraised property value. With the median Wichita home being $260,000, this means that the average home saves about $14 a year in property taxes. Do you agree with this decision, and what else could be done to relieve the financial strain felt by homeowners?
Absolutely not. I was not supportive of that because while $14 doesn't seem like that much relief to my constituents, we will definitely feel the burden in services that will be cut. So, what else was the question? I'm sorry.
What else could be done to relieve the financial strain felt by homeowners?
Well, I mean, that's really tough, and it goes back to the affordable housing portion. So we've talked about a lot of different options at the city, and there wasn't a lot of movement with some of my colleagues in some of the other areas, and sometimes it's really tough to get the fourth vote, so there wasn't a lot of other options on the table for us to look at, and there's not a lot of fat in the and there's not a lot of fat to trim in the budget alongside that. So,
Margaret?
I believe before we look at raising taxes, that we need to make sure we have a department of auditors that actually goes out and audit our spending, see where we're spending things, and we can shave off, right? So check out our wasteful spending. We don't need to be cutting things like maintenance for our street sweepers and things like that, because that's going to help our preventative care to help our budget later on, where we're not having to rebuild our infrastructure that's already needs to be rebuilt. So I would actually start there, and then we also need to figure out how to bring some revenue to Wichita, because right now we don't even have any tourism coming here, and I strongly believe we need tourism to build revenue so we can get that money from other people coming from out of state.
Okay, yes, I do agree with the lowering of the mill levy. Yes, it was $14, but yes, it was a start. I think everything's going to happen that we can do right now to help people stay in their houses. Property tax, it's hard to leverage someone's home through property tax to take that cash, give it to somebody else. I would like to explore possibly a sales tax in lieu of a property tax. At least with the sales tax, it's not tied to your house, and you're almost leveraged, forced to pay it. And then I think the back half of that is there's going to have to be some tough decisions to be made. We have to focus on wants or needs versus wants. Sometimes there's things we want, maybe we don't get it, So I think we focus on that and a sales tax, and we see if it makes sense.
Additional comment wanted by anybody?
I would just say that the city does have auditors, and they do a very good job in checking where there is frivolous spending and making sure that everybody is complying with all of the contracts and things. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Brett, you gave us a great segue into the next question. The current city council has discussed increasing Wichita sales tax as a way to possibly reduce property taxes. The question is, what are your thoughts on a sales tax increase? I'll let you go first if you wanted to elaborate.
Okay, as far as I understand, Wichita right now does not have its own citywide sales tax. So I would be looking to do that, to have a sales tax in lieu of property tax. Now, it's not a sales tax in addition to property tax, but in replacement for it. I think it's something to take a look at. Taxes are not good, but if you're not leveraging someone out of their house or holding their house ransom to get money from them, I think it's something to look at. And you can also capture outside dollars coming into Wichita when they go somewhere and they spend money. So, there you go.
Sure. A sales tax helps share the cost of city improvements with visitors who come and shop and spend money in Wichita. But it's also a regressive tax. So I also support it for specific projects that are clear and have an end date. For example, capital improvement programs. Most people probably don't know that we haven't had a new fire station in 15 years. It's time, and the city has been growing out and out and out. So that is something that is a moving target in the capital improvement program and is incredibly important. We have 2 that will be coming online here. We bought the land and everything for one and are working on the second one. So I am willing to entertain the idea for something like that, but it needs to be for a specific project and for a specific time.
Again, I do not support raising taxes. Wichita families are stretched far too thin already. The city must first manage what it has responsibly. I will push for full budget transparency, review contracts, and cut wasteful projects so we can fund core services like housing, infrastructure, and public safety without adding more burden to the taxpayers. Accountability, not higher taxes, is how we strengthen Wichita.
Anyone want additional comment? No? Okay. Our next question, we'll start off with Maggie. How would you reinvent the Broadway corridor from Central to 13th, 17th, or 21st Street?
Well, the first thing we have to do is get our community healthier in that area. So as I mentioned before, the 4 legs to the stool, we have all of these things in the middle of these giant projects. And, I always say we've had a lot of businesses leave Broadway, and I totally understand that, but we're not going to be able to attract anybody to Broadway to run their business and feel safe until we get our mental health crisis under control. So I feel like we're on the path, but until we get all of that addressed, it's going to be very hard to attract businesses. Some of them have already left, so it's going to be difficult to encourage someone to start their business there.
I live around the corner from this area. And I strongly believe, again, if we put zones up, we can call them campgrounds, intentional communities that will actually move them off of the property, and clean up the area. I believe that we should have stationary, the metal trash cans that they have, like off of 2nd and Broadway. It kind of stops when it gets to 3rd and Broadway in my area. If we give them something, they can put their trash in it. It will help them clean it up. Let's give them a place. Let's help by providing the things that they need, like as simple as a trash can. Let's put a porta potty up. Not a $600,000 one, though. But we can do things to help. And if we move them out the area, businesses will want to come in. The hospital is right there. The schools are right there. Riverside Park is right there. The businesses will want to be there. We just have to give the homeless a place to go.
Okay, can you repeat that, please?
How would you reinvent the Broadway corridor from Central to 13th, 17th, or 21st Street?
Yeah, well, it's probably about the same as what they have said already. We're going to have to clean the thing up as far as the homeless and the trash and stuff involved. I mean, you have to be safe. It needs to be clean to bring people in. I also think too that one thing that does help out the city is industry. If you bring industry, I think it's the core of everything else. I do like the revitalization that I believe the Lang Group has done it.
No, you can finish yours.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I do like what the Lang Group has done at 21st and 135, and maybe that's a possible area to maybe bring in some industry, to bring in some money, to bring in some taxes, to possibly help out with other things inside that area.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyone want additional comment? Maggie, go ahead.
I would just say, extra trash cans is a very simple thing, and they get emptied sometimes more than once a day, especially along the Midtown path. Trash has been a major issue, and loitering. Right now, the second light is in the middle of construction, so their capacity is a little bit lower than it will be when it is fully built out. And so some of these people that are extra people that are kind of loitering around in the area, here in a couple months, they'll be able to utilize all of the services that are inside, because that's the whole idea, is to have all of the services under one roof. So.
Comment? Okay. Margaret, we'll start with you. District 6 has a dense population of Latinos and Spanish speakers. How are you going to keep those residents engaged despite a language or information barrier?
This is something I've been working with during my campaign, is finding the different leaders in their community that can translate for me and make events for them where we can collaborate a little bit more, because I do not want anybody in District 6 forgot about, no matter what. I believe that their voice matters as well. I've been in their area. They have areas where there's no sidewalks, still some roads that are dirt roads instead of paved roads. So I strongly believe that, I'm not sure how at the moment, but it is something that I am working with some of the leaders in the Hispanic community to help me get out there and make sure their voice is heard as well.
Yeah, that's a great question, because sometimes we have a hard time right now getting English-speaking people engaged. So, I mean, it is tough. However, I was down there last weekend for their Empowers Hispanic Festival, and what I see Empower doing down there appears to be a good thing to me. I think that's probably a first place to start. I can't talk it. I can understand a little bit of it, but I think you get the local people involved, and I think that will probably spread to everybody else. Just communicate with them.
I would say the city has recently updated their website, and you can basically change it into any of the different languages. So I think that is helpful that they didn't do before. Also, Evergreen is a really great resource for anyone Spanish speaking. We do translate a lot of our flyers and different things going on within the city in Spanish and sometimes in Vietnamese. And also, we have to go to the people. If that's, go to some of the businesses in the North End and make sure that, or throughout the district, and make sure that they know about, events, and just really include them and ask them. 'Cause oftentimes when I'm at the door, some people have no idea about the opportunities and the different resources that we have. So I think going to meet people where they are is huge also.
No additional comment from anyone? Looks like, yeah, cool. Maggie, you can start off our next question. How do you define public safety, and where do you think the balance is between funding law enforcement and funding initiatives that lean more into crime prevention?
Well, public safety to me is a lot of different things. It's, obviously fire, police, but it's also safe roads, safe parks, making sure that, trash is picked up that could potentially hurt someone. I think it means a lot of different things. Since I've been on council, we have invested a lot in things like the Raven shot detecting program, Flock, that has really helped solve some violent crimes. And while we're working on recruitment and retention in both fire and police, they have made big strides in recruitment. And so I'm happy to see that we still have people that would like to be police officer and firefighter, even though the police are asked to wear many, many different hats alongside the firefighters as well. And so we've made some great investments to modernize some of the programs in our city.
Okay, public safety, I mean, I guess it means that you can walk down your street and feel safe, and if not, and something happens, then those people are found, punished, and dealt with. I think if you have an emergency, then you have the services are there to help, whether it's police, fire, and ER. How do we prevent violent crime? I don't think you're ever going to prevent it, but I think that you can be a deterrent. And I think the police force needs to be completely staffed. And I think police are asked to be a social worker, mental health expert. I think that needs to be expanded. I think police need to do police stuff, and there needs to be people that deal with the mentally handicapped and social issues and stuff like that. I think if we get back to letting the police be the police, you'll see the deterrence in crime.
I believe to reduce violence, we must focus on prevention, not just punishment. I support strengthening community policing, youth engagement, and mental health outreach. When residents trust law enforcement and have access to support systems, we create safer neighborhoods. We also need to invest in jobs, recreation, and mentorship programs to give young people the purpose and opportunity. Safety starts with connection, accountability, and hope. I also believe in consolidating our services, which the city is doing a good job with, working with to help us get our services out more since we are understaffed. So working with the county and the city's public safety, putting them together will help them go further out and serve more people.
Thank you. Any requests for additional comment?
I would just say something that we have seen lately is some habitual offenders of charges that are just misdemeanors, and we need some of our state partners to modernize some of those laws, because when you have 5 or 6 misdemeanors in the first 5 or 6 months out of the year, and they can't elevate it to a felony, and this person is just a revolving door with the jail, it certainly doesn't help the police department, and it costs a lot of money to not be able to, I want to say, punish them further.
Thank you. Margaret, we'll start the next question. North End residents frequently express concern over road conditions, a lack of street lighting in certain areas, and empty info lots. How can you address those concerns?
Who's going first?
These are also concerns of mine. I've noticed when I was taking my bike routes over this summer on the North End. I believe, again, in infrastructure and public safety. So I would go and look at where our money is being spent right now, like where do we have extra at? Because if we can spend $40,000 on a sports complex water fund, that tells me we have money to go and move and redirect to help our public safety, help our street infrastructure, and things like that. So that will be where our auditors come along and our advisors come along to see where we can shift some funds at to make sure they get this public safety and needs that they need.
Yeah, would you read the question one more time, please?
Residents frequently express concern over road conditions and a lack of street lighting, as well as empty info lots. How can you address those concerns?
Well, I have addressed some of those concerns. District 6 has 40% of the unpaved roads in the entire city. So there are a lot of roads that have not been paved. So we do have a 10-year dirt streets paving program. We have completed almost the first 2 years. They have been focused around schools, and then the last are all prioritized. And so I'm happy to see some of those streets that will be paved, and they'll be paid out of the dirt paving fund and not specials to the residents. Also, sometimes they just have to ask. In the last couple days, we just had streetlights that were from 53rd on Meridian all the way to 61st, and that happened because some residents told me how dark it was up there and they didn't feel safe. So I worked with the city staff to get that done. So sometimes we just have to be told some things that are important to the neighbors up here in the north end so that it's something that we can work on.
Yeah, so I am unsure of the current programs just because I haven't seen behind the curtain yet. But if there's programs there, it's wonderful. Let's see what we can get our residents in that. I think this goes back to my overall thought process as well. It's needs versus wants. Example, if we can spend $1.2 million to put some art in front of the water plant, we ought to be able to come up for some stuff to fix the infrastructure for our constituents. That's just an example, but I think sometimes we are in that era of time now where it's needs versus wants, and I think that needs to be reevaluated.
Any needs for additional comment? No. Okay. Brett, you'll start off our next question. Second Light at Main and 9th will become the city's year-round full-time homeless shelter and resource campus once it finishes construction next year. The city of Wichita has fronted nearly $30 million, half of it for housing, to build out the campus and keep the shelter running until October 2026, but hasn't committed operational dollars beyond that. How involved do you think the city should be with Second Light's operations and growth?
In a perfect world, tax dollars wouldn't be spent on it. But it's something that I think probably goes back to safety. I think they're going to have to take a look and see what the city can actually do. I think most of us would agree in here that government may not run things the best every single time. So maybe we look at I don't know if a nonprofit, I don't know if it's an outside source, I don't know if it's a collaboration between us and the county. It's just some different things we have to explore because funds are tight and everything else. So it's something we're going to have to talk about.
Yeah, would you repeat the question just one more time, please?
Really long.
That's okay.
I write long. A lot of people here know that. Second Light at Main and 9th will become the city's year-round full-time homeless shelter and resources campus once it finishes construction next year. The city of Wichita has fronted nearly $30 million, half of it for housing, to build out the campus and keep the shelter running until October 2026, but hasn't committed operational dollars beyond that. How involved do you think the city should be with Second Light's operations and growth?
Well, I think the city does definitely play a role in that, but we really need to lean into our state partners, our county partners. Beatty, I know you're back there somewhere. It's really not just a Wichita problem. It is a county problem and a statewide problem, and it's going to take all of us to fund it. So I definitely think that the city plays a role. I don't think it's just our responsibility. We need the faith-based community, business community. We need everybody to continue to come to the table and help us find a solution for funding.
I believe it should be privatized. We start initially, help with the funding, and let the private sector take it. But we don't take our hands out of the basket. We we make sure we audit them as well, because far too many times have nonprofits come and got grant money and gone out of business once the funds drained up. So we need to make sure that they are doing things to fundraise themselves as well, and not just depending on the city, the state, and federal funds. Because when that drives up, what happens? They also dry up. They're no longer, what were they, humankind? What were they before humankind? Interfaith ministries. Then they open up, and now we're a new business underneath the same juncture, right? So we need to make sure those things are not happening, and they're actually doing things that's helping our unhoused develop and get out of the situation that they are in.
Thank you. Additional comment? Anybody?
I would just lean into, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the high utilizer report. A little over 500 patients cost $56 million between jail, ComCare, and I believe Ascension. So, I mean, I think it's important to consider we're already paying a lot of money. If we could get on the forefront and continue to be a part of the funding for Second Light, because it has to be successful. And unfortunately, it takes money to do that, but we're already spending a lot of money in the same space.
Thank you. Margaret, you'll start us with the next question. Downtown Wichita gets a lot of attention, both for its development and it being a way to attract young residents into Wichita. For example, it's full of apartments, which is a great starting place, but those units tend to cost more per square foot compared to other rentals in the city already. With the investment into downtown, with paid parking, and with the biomed campus growing, how can you keep Wichita and downtown Wichita as a draw while keeping in mind how such developments can increase the cost of living?
That's a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. Like, can you read that one more time? That's a lot.
So essentially, what the question is, how do we keep rent minimized where it doesn't skyrocket?
It's like, historically, like in cities, the more investment and development you put into like a downtown area, because that's like how you attract people, usually to a new area, that usually ends up raising the cost of living for the very least neighborhoods in there, so people get priced out. Groceries, well, it doesn't have a grocery store, but in theory, groceries would go up in that area. So it's one of those things like, how do you protect that investment to keep it attractive while also not letting it become too disruptive for the neighborhoods?
I believe, and we already do incentivize a lot of our developers, but let's give them an incentive to keep rent at a certain level, to not go further. Also, I believe that, again, we need to bring revenue and tourism in, so then that can kind of offset some of the spending that we're doing and the taxes that are going out, and try to help alleviate that problem. Also, we need to focus on, it's a lot of these are students that are going to live down there as well. So we need to protect them so they're not priced out as well. So I would have a lot of experts in the room, because I don't know exactly how to do it. But I do think that we need to make sure we incentivize and we put caps on things so they don't price us out.
I'm still a little perplexed by the question. So there's a lot of development going on downtown.
Yes. Okay. So it's how do you encourage that development to continue and help downtown Wichita grow, while also making sure that that growth doesn't kind of cause this bubble of like increased rent, now you have to pay for parking, increase just everything in that area that, is carried by residents.
Sure. Well, I think we have worked with the developers in, the last couple years to find projects and incentives that make sense for that project. But yeah, I'm just kind of lost on this question. I mean, I get that there's going to be a lot of students down there that want to live downtown that potentially won't have a car. So yeah, I'm just kind of lost on that. I'm sorry. That's okay. Yeah.
I'll answer it. I think that goes along with everything else that I've been saying. I think you let the market decide. I mean, if you put in a development and the apartment's $2,500, $3,000 a unit, and you can't sell it, well, then I guess it didn't work. I don't think it's the job of the city to subsidize that just to say we have people downtown. I think that now, as the city, I think we can possibly make things rezone better. Maybe we can help them put more units in one place that's more affordable. But just throwing dollars after dollars after dollars to make it look good is not the way to do it.
I mean, we don't want additional comment on that question. Okay. This will be our last question, just to kind of respect your time and include in the closing statements. I'm going to combine an in-the-room submission with a question we already had. Where do you stand on the issue of paid parking as well as the infamous bathrooms in downtown Wichita? And Margaret, I'll have you go first.
The infamous bathrooms are what made me get into the race. When I opened up the newspaper and read that we spent $600,000 on 2 fancy porta potties for the homeless, and we put them downtown at Century 2 and NAPSCAR Park, so it's not even for, not even highly populated areas, you know? So I jumped in the race. I think that was wasteful spending. There's other type of potties, toilets that we could have maybe purchased if we wanted to put something out. We could have revitalized the ones that we have at the parks. I go to the park and some of them are closed sometimes, you know, and I go inside of them and I'm like, wow, why didn't we revitalize those? So, and then as far as the parking, that's there. I strongly believe we should not be charging the workers and business owners downtown. If we're going to have paid parking, I do not think we should be charging the business workers and owners downtown. They should have a permit or a designated area close to their business where they could park.
Paid parking, I just think it's more money on top of more money on top of more money. I mean, it's another drain. I think I think if you're wanting to grow it down there, I don't know if that was the best way of accomplishing more people to come down there. I mean, because nothing's free. You're gonna have to pay for it. I think that maybe that was a Band-Aid to try to help with some of the other stuff that the city had deferred for the past 15 years or whatever as far as maintenance. Now, the bathrooms, yeah, that's a sore spot too. I'm not saying we don't need bathrooms, but I don't think we need 2 of them for $600,000. That's a little bit excessive. I'm guessing there's probably plenty of competent people that work within the city of Wichita that could have built 2 bathrooms for less than $600,000. So.
Great. I am a big proponent of the bathrooms. We have 2 sets of public bathrooms in downtown Wichita right now that are open specifically for special events. So these Portland loos that are state-of-the-art, easy to clean. I think $10,000 is in the budget to spray them down at least once a day. They have a hydration station on the side. They have UV lights on the inside so that you can't find your veins, so that nobody can be shooting up in there. They are very impressive if you go look up all of the thought that went into the design. And these aren't just for homeless people. These are for our community. We encourage people to go to NASCAR Park all the time, and there's no bathroom. It's not Homegrown's responsibility. It's not Barleycorn's responsibility to provide public bathrooms for us downtown. It's crazy, and maybe they cost too much money, maybe, but we need them. You know, there's a budget line item to scrape turds off the sidewalk, and people are okay with that, but they're not okay with investing in the actual infrastructure to address the real problem. I didn't even get to parking, sorry.
Well, you have 30 seconds of additional comment if you'd like to.
Okay. Paid parking is probably one of the most difficult projects that I've had to work on, and I represent Delano, downtown, and Old Town, and it's like having 3 children that want 3 different things for dinner, and you're trying to make everybody happy, and it's very, very difficult. We all know free parking is not free. It has been neglected and for a very long time. I would love other ideas to receive income if people don't want to pay for parking. We are the 50th biggest city, and we're the only one that doesn't have paid and managed parking. So that is kind of the Wichita way, and it is not working.
I would like to also add that with this paid parking, it's only going to fund the downtown area. They is supposed to go for safety of the parking garages and cleaning of the parking garages. So it's not even really going to serve the whole city.
Brett? You good?
Yeah, I would like to say too, I think that maybe an idea that we need to incorporate is that if we're going to have developments downtown and they're going to get incremental financing from the city, it's part of the agreement. You guys help put in some outside amenities for people that are going to be down there. Make them fit part of it. We're helping them out. They can come help us out.
Thank you. We will now move on to our closing statements. Each of you will have 1 minute for it. Margaret, you can go first.
As I leave you here tonight, I want to leave you with this. Remember, Wichita can't stand forward by doing the same things and expecting different results. We need leadership that brings both compassion and accountability, that listens, not lectures. I will fight for affordable housing, responsible spending, and stronger neighborhoods where families feel safe and supported. District 6 deserves action, not empty promises. I'm Margaret Wheeler Shabazz, and I am ready to work for you, work with you, and alongside you to build a stronger, fairer Wichita for everyone. Vote for me November 4th.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks for everyone coming out tonight. You are doing more than most, and I appreciate that. Again, my campaign's running on accountability, transparency, and common sense. I'm not in this for the money, I can tell you that. But I'm here on November 4th.
We'd just like to thank everyone for taking the time to come out tonight and participate. We try to work really hard to continue to get people to participate, so I certainly appreciate you guys spending the evening with us. Serving as your city council member has been an honor, but we're not done yet. My goal is to finish what we've started and ensure Wichita is a city we're all proud to leave our children. We have major projects in motion that will shape the future of our city, and I want to see them through. I'm Maggie Ballard, and I'm asking for your vote on November 4th.
All right, let's give a round of applause for the candidates. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Just going to jump on, they said it is really difficult to get the community civically engaged, whether that's through news and information or with local politics. So it means a lot for those in that kind of sphere for you guys to show up and show out today. But yeah, as I said before, if there are additional questions or concerns, I'm sure these three are more than happy to have a conversation with anyone that just kind of wants to pick their brain a little bit. But yeah, on behalf of the Wichita Journalism Collaborative, thank you and have a good night.